Alright, what is up, you guys? I am here with my WrestleMania 34 review. This is my first full pay-per-view review, so let me know if you like it. And of course, there is more to come. Figured I would start with this one, being I was there, and it's the most recent WrestleMania. So, got the DVD up there, got a Crystal Pepsi, and we're ready to go. So, WrestleMania 34, we had at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana, 78,133 in attendance. And then the theme songs were Celebrate by Kid Rock, that was the main one, and then Let the Good Times Roll, and then New Orleans by Kid Rock again. And sponsored by Snickers and Rocket League. And obviously this was a Raw and SmackDown show. Alright, so we had the 3-match pre-show, obviously. Not really much to say about this, but first we had the 30-man Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which was won by Matt Hardy in 15 minutes and 45 seconds, won by last eliminating Baron Corbin. I thought this was a pretty good Battle Royal when compared to the other Andre the Giant Battle Royals. I thought this was probably the best one since WrestleMania 30. Still not very memorable. And then, of course, you had the Bray Wyatt spot at the end. And we had the Matt Hardy-Bray Wyatt alliance. So, this match, honestly, if I were to give it a star rating, I would say maybe 2 stars. And what I'm going to do for these reviews is do star ratings for the matches, and then overall, I'll give a letter grade. It's kind of hard to rate a whole show by a decimal, so I figured I would do it as an F to A+ scale. Next up we had the Cruiserweight Championship, Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali. In 12 minutes and 20 seconds, we had a new champion, Cedric Alexander. And overall, this was kind of your most basic Cruiserweight match. Like, it wasn't bad, but it was just very basic. It had some good spots. But, you know, like I said, not much to really say about it. It did what it had to do. It met expectations. I would probably give it 3 stars for this one. Next, we have Naomi last eliminating Bayley in the 20-woman WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, which was originally the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. We all know what happened there. This match was only 9 minutes and 50 seconds long. I really didn't expect Naomi to win. It was kind of a good surprise. And then, you know, everyone thought Sasha Banks or Bayley was going to win. That's kind of what they were building up to. And then last minute, Naomi, came in and eliminated Bayley to win. So this one, honestly, I'd give like 1.5 stars. This, to me, just was very basic and really just unnecessary. And then we start the official, the main show. We did have an opening pyro, which was cool. The return of pyro after a while of not having it. Then we had the triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. It was 15 minutes and 30 seconds long. I actually really enjoyed this match. Seeing it live, I think, was a little bit better. The crowd was really into this. And we had Seth Rollins defeating The Miz and Finn Balor to become the new champion. This one had a lot of near falls. And I thought it was a very good triple threat match with the triple threat formula. So, it's good to see Seth Rollins win. And I think this one exceeded your average triple threat match. I would give this one actually 3.5 stars. And then next up we had Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. And this one was pretty big because you had Asuka lose for the first time. Charlotte Flair won in 13 minutes and 5 seconds. Now, I would rate this match a lot higher. I felt like if they would have given it 5 more minutes, make it 18, 20 minutes. This was a fantastic match. This was my personal favorite match of the night, just from a personal level. I'm going to give this one, honestly, I feel like I'm being generous here. I'm going to give it 4.25 because I really, really enjoyed this match. And that's unbiased as well. I thought this was a great match. For what they had in 13 minutes, I'd give it 4.25. I really would. And, you had the suplex off the apron, which was seen at TakeOver the night before. So, it wasn't as special, but it was really good. And then you had some great submission spots. You had great top rope maneuvers that you don't really see women do that often. So, like I said, 4.25 for this one. Charlotte Flair winning by submission with the figure 8, which I was fine with it. I know a lot of people didn't like Asuka losing. Now, what they've done with Asuka since then, obviously that's the problem. Then we had your basic fatal 4-way match for the WWE United States Championship. Jinder Mahal defeated Randy Orton, Bobby Roode, and Rusev. This was as basic as you can possibly get. A lot of RKOs, of course, your Randy Orton multi-man match. And I really didn't expect Jinder Mahal to win. Going in, I thought Randy Orton was going to retain and kind of carry the belt for a little while going into Backlash and, Greatest Royal Rumble. But I really don't have much to say about this one. This was a very, I guess you want to say average, but I would kind of say it was a little below average. Like, it was there on the card. That's basically all you can say. It was there. And for this one, I'm actually just going to go 2 stars. This one was just very average to me. And what did you really expect, though? This one, you didn't really expect greatness. And the crowd was so behind Rusev. And I think it's a wasted opportunity. I'm not saying I would rate it higher if Rusev won, but I think this match would have gotten a lot more praise if Rusev won. Then we had Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey defeating Triple H and Stephanie McMahon by submission. And the longest match, the longest match of the night, 20 minutes and 40 seconds. Which it actually felt a lot longer. You had Kurt Angle returning to a WrestleMania match. I was so overjoyed to see that. You see his pyro go off again. And, him and Triple H, they squared off very nicely. I think this kind of replaced that notion of getting a Kurt Angle and Triple H match at this year's WrestleMania. So, I think it worked. I really did enjoy this match. The crowd was really into it. Really into it. So, overall, if I had to rate this match, I would actually go probably 4.25. Yeah, probably 4.25. I was kind of stuck between 4.5 and 4.25. I think it was match of the night. So, fuck it. I'll just go 4.3 just to top Charlotte and Asuka's because I do think this was a better match overall. But I don't know if I'd go 4.5, honestly. But, Kurt Angle looked great. You had a lot of great suplexes, belly to belly, German. And then Triple H looked really good as well. And Stephanie McMahon really held her own, as well as Ronda Rousey. And I actually give him credit for not being afraid to put Ronda Rousey and Triple H together. And, there's one point where she was just, going at him. She was just, it looked like a UFC match, honestly. But I really give him credit for that. And my only really big problem with this, I felt like it kind of ran a little too long. I think it would have been better if there was a spot in the match where they're both in the submission. You have the ankle lock, and then you have the armbar. I think they should have just had them tap at the same time. I thought that was, honestly, the logical ending, but of course that wasn't the ending. It went on a few more minutes, and then we had Stephanie McMahon tap out. So, it is what it is. I felt like it would have benefited from just having that finish, from having them both tap out at the same time. I thought that would have been really cool. And originally, Triple H was actually supposed to tap out. Little fun fact for you. So yeah, 4.3, I'll give it that one. Just to kind of meet a little bit better than 4.25. Normally I try to do 4 1/4. I try to go like, four, 4 1/4, 4.5, 4 3/4, and then the next star. But I felt like this one was a little bit better than Charlotte and Asuka, so I'll up it there a little bit. The Bludgeon Brothers defeated the Usos and the New Day, 5 minutes and 50 seconds. This was disappointing. Originally, this was going to be a TLC match, and it just turned into a squash match. I hated this match. Seeing it live, I really hated it, because I just felt like this was just a waste. Honestly, I would give this one 1.5 stars. You definitely put over the Bludgeon Brothers. It wasn't even a match. It was just a massacre, which is what they're known for now after the fact, so I get it in the context. I would just give it 1.5. I just really don't think that this should have even been on the card, honestly. So I would have rather seen like the Cruiserweight titles, or the Cruiserweight title match on here, and then put the Triple Threat tag team match on the pre-show. You just had domination. That's all it was. And after seeing the Usos and the New Day have this great rivalry, I thought maybe we could see just one more magic match like SummerSlam or Hell in a Cell. But obviously that didn't happen. Alright, so throughout the night, John Cena was obviously in the crowd. And after the Charlotte and Asuka match, he got up and ran up the ramp, which I actually kind of disagreed with. I felt like he kind of, nothing against Cena here. It's obvious, I don't think it's his fault. But I think he kind of ruined Charlotte's moment, because you had your attention on her, but then he just runs up the ramp beside her. So I felt like it just would have been, you could have chosen a better time, because I felt like that Charlotte match could have been, could have ended with her just, holding the title up, and then it just fades on her. And by the way, Charlotte's entrance is one of the best WrestleMania entrances I've ever seen. It was so cool. Then we had John Cena. He came out, normal entrance. He got in the ring. Referee came down, whispered in his ear, and then obviously Cena looked disappointed, and place goes black. Of course, it's Elias, just trolling everybody. He cuts his little promo, has his time. And then John Cena gives him an FU, attitude adjustment. And, it's kind of predictable what's going to happen next. But I just kind of felt like this whole Elias stuff could have just take that out. Because that was like 10 minutes on its own. And then just give Undertaker and Cena a good 12-minute match. That's what I would have done personally. This Elias thing didn't need to happen. If anything, I would have just put Elias on the pre-show. Have him sing a song for New Orleans for 5 minutes. Something like that. But Cena's going up the ramp. The lights go out. You saw the smoke starting to rise. And then you hear the gong. And then Undertaker comes out. And we officially have The Undertaker versus John Cena for the first time at WrestleMania. Not the first time on pay-per-view, but at WrestleMania. Of course, we saw that match in Vengeance of 2003, which feels like so long ago now. So, Undertaker and Cena, 2 minutes and 45 seconds. I did not expect that personally, but I don't know. The crowd really didn't receive this as well as probably they intended. We had barely any offense by Cena. Really, all he did was do his little slam that sets up the 5-knuckle shuffle. He gets scared when The Undertaker rises up. One tombstone. We had Old School. We had pretty much all the, Snake Eyes, the Big Boot. We had all the small Taker spots. And of course, we did have the tombstone to end it, and that was it. Cool Undertaker moment. But I just felt like this was underwhelming and kind of just a waste. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. This was really cool to see live. They teamed up against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The match lasted 15 minutes and 25 seconds. Oh, I didn't even rate the Undertaker match. Honestly, I'd just give that like 1 star. You can't rate it any higher than that, honestly. But Daniel Bryan making his comeback to WrestleMania. I am personally a Daniel Bryan fan. I always have been. I have the foam finger from WrestleMania 30. And this was it was emotional. Because you saw this long journey of trying to get back to the ring. We all were there for his retirement speech. And, the crowd was into it. The crowd actually wasn't as into it as I thought they were going to be. But we're already, almost 4 hours into the show. So, 3.5 hours probably? So, obviously the crowd's a little dead. But overall, this match kind of went exactly how you thought it would. I personally thought it would have been better just to do a full-on street fight. Daniel Bryan gets taken out early on. Shane McMahon, for a good chunk of the match is just taking a beating. And then Daniel Bryan, he has his kind of hot tag comeback. And then they beat Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Kind of your basic, really kind of standard match. Honestly, this one I would just give 3 stars. Was really, really good to see Daniel Bryan back, though. Next up, we had the Raw Women's title. Nia Jax versus Alexa Bliss. Very basic match. You had Nia Jax really tried to give her crowning moment. The match lasted 10 minutes and 15 seconds. And really your basic women's match. There's really not much to say more than that. Kind of slow, methodical. You had your normal Alexa Bliss, coward heel. And that was really it, And of course, Mickie James was also there. So Nia Jax winning the Raw Women's title. This match I'd honestly give 2 stars. Not too much to say about that one. Honestly, I thought that one was just going to get cut. I really did. Alright, next up we have AJ Styles versus Schinsky Nakamura for the WWE Championship. Second longest match of the night, only by 20 seconds. We had 20 minutes and 20 seconds. And this one was okay. It was good. It was okay. My opinion on this match, I could go forever on this match. But the crowd really was getting bored by this. And it just didn't click. They never quite went into the next gear, which would be the near falls, the final couple finishers. And some people give them credit for that because finishers are abused nowadays. But to me, this one just didn't quite end correctly. A lot of people were just kind of confused by this one. We had, great mat wrestling, great in-ring psychology. You had these 2 baby faces, which I do agree that they should have both been faces going into this. And overall, I just don't think it really hit into high gear. I felt like the last 5 minutes were underwhelming. And when it ended, I was like, oh, okay. It only takes 1 finisher, which, to their credit, yeah. But I felt like it could have been a bit more exciting. And it was an above-average match, but just kind of okay on their standards. This one, honestly, I'd give 3.5 stars. They did their part. 3.5 is not bad. I just, I think their last man standing match was better. And obviously their Wrestle Kingdom match was loads better. And then, of course, we had the heel turn. AJ Styles went to give that kind of Ring of Honor, brotherly type feel. Where they're still friends no matter what type thing. They respect each other. Nakamura gets down on one knee, gives him the title, and then gives him a low blow for the heel turn, which was great because a lot of people didn't expect that. The crowd actually really reacted to that, which was cool. Next up, we had, let's see, I think we had the Raw Tag Team titles. This was terrible. Braun Strowman comes out after the bar. The bar came out on their little trolley. I don't even know what you want to call it. Had a bunch of New Orleans characters and stuff like that. The jesters, the dancers, stuff like that. And then Braun Strowman comes out, tips it off the stage to show his strength. And his original partner was supposed to be Bobby Lashley, which of course didn't happen until the next night when Bobby Lashley came out. I think Elias he came out with. So Braun Strowman goes into the crowd, and you have Nicholas. He picks out a kid. God. And the kid was actually 10 years old, and he was actually one of the referee's kids. So, the match only lasted 4 minutes. It was your basic squash. Not much to say. This one, I'd probably give 1 star. I thought this was just pathetic. Honestly, I'd just honestly give it half a star. So 0.5. It just really was a letdown for a lot of people. Because the thing was, a lot of people were expecting some huge surprise. There were people saying Hulk Hogan, Batista. I wasn't expecting them. I actually thought, maybe Bobby Lashley, maybe some NXT star, So, the main event, we had Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Fruit Roll-Up Universal Championship. This match went 15 minutes and 55 seconds, and this was fun to be a part of because the crowd, you had beach balls, you had the wave, you had singing, you had people leaving. This match, I think, was better than people are actually giving it credit for. I think, in the end, this was an okay main event. A lot of people just kind of shit on it, and I think it deserves a little bit more credit because you had, it wasn't your normal match. You had kind of the power play. You had Brock Lesnar just throwing Roman Reigns around. You had Roman Reigns giving offense. You had kind of a predictable match finish in Roman Reigns winning. We'll get to that. It's almost like Undertaker and Brock Lesnar WrestleMania 30. Everyone was so sure, but then they swerved us. We had the suplexes. We had Suplex City. You had so many F5s. This was ridiculous. They had been building the F5 all fucking year and all of fucking 2017 to be this move that nobody kicks out of. Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, AJ Styles. This was such a protected move. And then you do it, 5 times? And Roman kicks out? I think they did it 4 times, and then Roman didn't kick out on the 5th one. You had the elbows, which busted up Randy Orton at SummerSlam 2016. And, Roman was busted open from the elbows, the hard-hitting offense by Brock Lesnar. And it was a pretty big gash. And that did get people talking a little bit. It did kind of get people to pay attention a little more. But in the end, Brock Lesnar, F5 to Roman Reigns to retain the title, which nobody expected, at least in the crowd. A lot of people were shocked, and I actually gave him credit for that, because you kind of had that little swerve. And, the pay-per-view kind of ended pretty quickly after that. There was really no celebration. The pyro actually, there was an ending pyro. It was just after the show ended. Half the people are gone, and you see a pyro go off. From what I know, this match changed many times throughout the outcome changed many times throughout the match. There was a point where Roman was going to win, then Brock was going to win, then Roman again, then Brock. So they couldn't just make up their mind, and then eventually we all saw what happened. So, this WrestleMania to me was better than 32, kind of on par with 33, and then 30 and 31 obviously were fantastic. I would give this a C+ rating. Overall, it's not bad. It had its great matches. I thought the first half was really good. And then after the Undertaker segment, it just went downhill from there. And which was disappointing because I was having such a good time. The crowd was so into it. We were like, "Oh, this is the greatest WrestleMania ever." And then it just went downhill real quick. And I honestly don't think there'll ever be a day where a WrestleMania tops 17. Hopefully soon. You know, these WrestleManias lately, they run too long. This one was over 5 hours. And, well, 7 hours with the pre-show. You know, people don't want to sit there for 7 hours. I went to SummerSlam. It was the same case. The crowd was so dead. And I went to NXT the night before, and the crowd was so alive. They loved it. And it was your normal, I think it was shorter than 3 hours. So, overall, I'm going to give this a C+. So this was kind of a long review, obviously, because it's WrestleMania. Let me know your thoughts on this format, and let me know what you would give this event with a letter grade or star rating. I hope you guys enjoyed this new type of video. This has been the DVD Freak. Peace out.